Welcome back to the Athlete Lab podcast, where we dive into athlete development, the systems, habits, and characteristics that drive elite performance. Today, we're super privileged to be joined by two of the brightest young stars in U.S. ice dancing. Emilea Zingas Vadym Kolesnik are both here. They train here at the Athlete Lab. They skate in Novi. They've got some of the most unique stories as they came up and as they're preparing to make the U.S. Olympic team. So thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you so much for having us. We're really excited to be here.
So I know that both of your backgrounds in skating is a little bit unique. So walk me through, how did you become partners? What is that aspect of your sport? How does it all happen?
Well, I was a single skater for many years. Vadym switched to ice dance much earlier than me. And just to give a little bit of perspective, a lot of people that we're competing against right now for the spots on the U.S. Olympic team have been doing ice dance together for 15 years or 20 years maybe. So we have a relatively new partnership in that regard. But yeah, I was single skating, freestyle by myself. And our now coach, Igor Spielband, saw me compete in Oberstdorf, Germany. And he said, I really want you to try ice dance. And I was like, no, I'm okay. I don't think that's for me, because I had never done any skating with a partner before, or really even held anyone's hand on the ice before. And then, he kind of tricked me a little bit into coming into Novi, because at the time I was skating in St. Clair Shores, Michigan. And when I got there, Vadym was there, and he said to Vadym, why aren't you skating with her already? And Vadym came to me and said, do you want to skate together? And I was like, I guess. And from there, I think we didn't stop skating together.
Yeah, well, yeah. I saw that story from a different perspective.
I'd like to hear it.
Yeah. I was celebrating my birthday in Ukraine, and I get a call from my coach. And he's like, I'm in Oberstdorf right now, Germany, and I see this amazing skater. Meanwhile, I've been searching for partners for about 2 years at that point. So I was like, who is it? I know everybody who's competing there. I would love to see them. He's like, no, she's a single skater. I'm like, bruh, that's my birthday. I always
ruined my birthday.
What are you talking about? But no, seriously, I took a look at her and I was like, wow, she has amazing skating quality, danceability. We should definitely have a tryout. So I come back to U.S. and he's like, well, she still didn't finish her single season, so let her finish it and then we're going to have a tryout. So I was like, oh, so there's no tryout? He's like, no. But then he sees us skate separately, looking at each other, something's going on. He's like, just go and try some things together. And we did, and kind of clicked right away for me.
Yeah. And I didn't really know anything, I wasn't knowledgeable about ice dance, or I didn't have any idea of what to do as a partner, but for some reason it worked pretty seamlessly from the beginning. And it did take a lot of work and a lot of hard days, a lot of lessons learned, because ice dance is a completely different sport than freestyle, single skating. But yeah, I think from the beginning I knew for some reason in my heart that it was something I could be successful at with Vadym, and it felt really good. Even from the first day we skated together.
What I loved right away was that she was taking everything like a sponge. Any hints, ideas I was giving her when we just tried things out, she was like, yeah, I'm gonna try, I'm gonna do it. Might have not worked the first time, but I don't know.
50th time.
But
might have taken.
There was something that was like, okay, it's gonna happen eventually. So
yeah,
I loved it.
That's really cool. You guys are both known to be really athletic and very, very technically sound skaters, but you bring a little bit different angle to the ice dancing. It's cool that you guys click like that. So it's really, really unique. So, all right, you're in this place. You're trying to find a way to click, to really merge together and that sort of thing, and create a rhythm. What is the daily habits? I've heard Igor is an incredible coach. I haven't really seen how he operates, but I know the hours are something that I think a lot of athletes, and regardless of sports, would just really be really nervous about. So what are your days like? How does that all work? What's the training like?
Well, I think it depends on the time of year. So in the off season, we have a lot more hours spent on the ice and off the ice even, but a little bit lower intensity. And then during the season, the intensity definitely ramps up and the hours kind of cut down a little bit. I would say our average training per day, we're on the ice anywhere from 4 to 5.5 or 6 hours. In the off season, it can be more. So just working on details, new elements, stuff like that when we have the time. But like for this week, for example, we will do 2.5 hours in the morning or 2 hours in the morning and then 2 hours in the afternoon. And then we have an off-ice class during the day as well at the rink, which will be either ballet or jazz or hip-hop, a dance class. And then we'll come to the athlete lab to train, or we also coach. So a lot of times in the afternoon, we'll go straight from our training to a different rink in Ann Arbor, and we'll coach for 3 to 4 hours there. And I think ice dance is really demanding on the body, but also really demanding mentally because it's a lot of details. And that's why we have so many hours spent on the ice compared to my sister was a D1 hockey player and she trained a lot, especially in the gym. But she couldn't imagine, skating 4+ or 5+ hours on a single day. So yeah, that's our in-season training looks kind of similar to that, I guess I'd say.
We definitely skate more than we walk in a day. With a dowel.
Yeah. I don't spend time doing walking or anything after we get off and finish training. I'm relaxed.
It's a hard work. It's like 9 to 5, but physically.
Yeah. Like we spend every day, we wake up pretty early in the morning.
We wake up at 6. We go warm up. Warm up's usually like an hour. Then
off-ice warm up is an hour.
We wake up at 6. By the time we get to the rink at 7, we warm up. It's like 8. We get on the ice, do some things on our own, and then we have lessons with Igor or other coaches we have, and we do run-throughs. Run-throughs, like when we do the full program, like we try to imagine with competition. That's actually one of the things that Chris Palmer, our sports psychologist, was talking about, that you need to
simulate competition.
Visualize everything you're going to do at competitions and try to repeat it over and over so there's nothing unexpected happening.
So every day we do the same off-ice warm-up. I mean, we kind of separate, we do our own things, but then at the end of our warm-up we come together, we breathe together, we go through our programs together, we go through the lifts off-ice together. So it is definitely, even every morning, it's a routine, but it's, a lengthy one, and it helps us be at our best when we're in high pressure situations, I would say, when we can simulate the same thing that we do at home when we're, across the world. So
I tried different ways of approaching competitions, but I found for me the best thing is to just turn off my mind and rely on my muscle memory. Just let the muscle memory do the work, let the training show everything basically.
Yeah, well, there's so much there. First of all, you're talking about these different coaches. So you have Igor and you have other coaches. You have a dance class and your hip hop and ballet. Those are all very different, kind of different disciplines, different aspects that you have to bring to your routine. How do you take some of those things that might be a little bit different than being on the ice, and how do you translate that to physically skating? Is watching you skate, it's incredible what you're having to do and execute at the pace you're doing it. So walk us through some of those things that the coaches would do and how you're able to take that and translate it into a routine, or to do something new, things you're trying to add in.
Yeah, I think a big thing for us is working on skating skills, which has to do with exercises, and we actually have a coach specifically dedicated to technique and skating style, skating skills, exercises. So a lot of times in the morning, if we have her lesson for 45 minutes, we won't do any of our program for those first 45 minutes. All we do is exercises, which is basically can be compared to a drill in hockey. So we do a crossover exercise, a 3-turn exercise, turn exercises, and that's something that's really important to get your body right before you start doing the program, which we found helps us. But so we have a coach basically specific for everything that goes into our programs. We
work with Michael.
Yeah, and we also work with a drama coach he's actually a mime, a professional mime, and not the kind with the paint and the
Oh my God, we hate
like
that.
this, but
I can see how that would be that cool. But professional.
a mime actor, I guess, and he's really amazing. So even the emotional connection between each other and with the audience, we rehearse that. So everything that you see in the competition is practiced meticulously. Yeah. So every edge, every turn, every look, every arm movement is choreographed and rehearsed. And a lot of times it's up to us kind of to decide that emotional connection.
Especially at his age.
Especially at our age, yeah. And the arm movements, like a lot of things that we come up with on our own, which it helps too when you have like creative ability in yourself, I think. And he is very creative as well. He helps make our programs, which I'm always very thankful for. But yeah, there's a coach for everything that goes into the program, basically.
Wow, so there's so many details to it, which is, you're at the highest levels, of course, that's the case. How do you handle your nutrition and your sleep? And the schedule you're maintaining takes all your energy, and joke about you skate more than you walk.
Yeah.
But, and you know, so what type of detail do you go in there, and what type of experts do you kind of lean on for that part of your development?
Well, we work with U.S. figure skating nutritionist and
dietitian.
Yes. I'm trying to get as much sleep as I can, you know, like I like to stick to 10 hours a day at least. If I don't get to that point, we usually have like a 2-hour break in between our morning and afternoon session. So I'm getting home and I'm trying to fall asleep. This is the best recovery for me, you know.
I think I sleep when I can, where I can, because
we have that ability to fall asleep anywhere.
I'm basically, if we have more than 30-minute break, I can fall asleep in the car, I can fall asleep in the locker room, I can fall asleep, you know, at home at any time of the day. So yeah, I think for me also being in school, it adds another element of, I have to do homework when I get home at night, which can be sometimes really difficult. But prioritizing proper nutrition, prioritizing proper sleep, supplementation has been a really big thing that has helped us. We actually worked with a trainer a few years ago, and he gave us the rundown of and he was a former Olympic bobsled athlete, and he gave us the rundown of everything he used when he was competing, which really, I don't know if it's just placebo effect on our training day-to-days, but I feel it makes me feel a lot better.
I can feel the difference.
Yeah, and our supplementation is definitely different. Like, he takes different supplements than I do, but yeah, that's something that's helped us a lot. Just prioritizing a routine with everything we do. So
yeah, the sleep aspect of things is so important. We had Dr. Sarah Scott talk to our athletes and their fans about sleep postures for recovery, and like just how you fall asleep and what position you are. Like that's going to help your body's ability to recover, and that's something that I'm not surprised to hear from you guys. I like that you 10 hours a day, because if you have 7 hours one night, you got to find a way to get this free somewhere. You know, that's good. It's such a good message for young athletes to hear. And I think people in my age group want to say, oh, kids need to get up earlier and, you know, grind it out. But realistically, they need to find ways to sleep 10 hours. They need to prioritize that if they're truly, like you guys are, pushing themselves to the limit. So that's really, really interesting. So, Emilea, you touched on school. You're also embracing that aspect of it, and what sounds like a pretty light degree, right, in neuroscience. Not a lot there.
Yeah, I think the way that I've been doing it hasn't been super not manageable. I've been able to manage my school pretty well. It is definitely a challenge sometimes, especially when we travel internationally, like those trips to Asia or, you know, 2-week or 3-week long Europe trips. It's really difficult to be gone, especially with the higher level science classes having labs and stuff like this. But I really like being in school. I think it's something that is helpful for me to get my mind out of the skating world, just even if it's for like a few hours a day. And what I learn is actually pretty applicable to some of the things that we do on the ice. So yeah, studying neuroscience, and I'm also honors psychology minor, so which is really nice. I think those are my favorite classes, the psychology classes. But yeah, I've learned a lot about how our bodies and brains are connected, and I've applied some of those like helpful techniques into our skating and my daily life, you know, like breath work, meditation, things like this that are actually science-based and backed. So it's been helpful for me, and also really interesting in a way to get my degree and keep my mind healthy, well-rounded.
I think that's such an important piece of it. And it's great that you're studying something that can translate to what your passion is and what you're, what's really driving your day to day. And you mentioned, so you're getting the science and like the breathing and things that's backed by it. There's nothing. And you also mentioned that you work with a sports psychologist and somebody that helps you with preparation. So as you guys work with the same sports psychologist, am I correct?
Yeah.
So how does that work? Is it a one-on-one session? First of all, I think it's unreal that you're doing that and you're open to talk about it. All the best athletes in the world do it. I'll write about it, but yet you come across young athletes that are like, oh, I don't need that.
That's how I felt when I was younger. And then at some point you just reach this point where you can't do it without the sports psychologist. There's so much build up that you need to let it go somewhere, and oftentimes it doesn't come out in a good way. And skating between us. We don't want that to happen, right?
Yeah. I think like working with a sports psychologist has changed the way we communicate, I guess. Absolutely. I would say. And it's just been a really big help to us overall, like even in our personal lives, like outside of the skating world. Chris Palmer is an amazing sports psychologist. I cannot recommend him more. He changed, I think, both of our perspectives on sport and both of our ways to look at training. And we work with him together, and we also work with him separately. So he kind of gets to hear, 3 sides of our training, and which is nice. And it's really nice to have someone who's somewhat removed from the skating world, because it is so, I guess, dramatic in a way. I don't know how to say differently. And he's able to give us like a really fresh perspective, and he helps us to like remove ourselves from sometimes charged situations. And I think it's been really good for me personally, just to feel a better communication style between us, a better motivation when we step on the ice every day. So what would you?
No, I 100% agree with everything he said.
Was a lie?
No. Like I imagine that you have a 4 minutes and 10 seconds of a program, right? That's our free dance. And outside of 10 elements, there is a choreography in between all of it. And there's always something that's going to go wrong. And I used to be a perfectionist. Like I like things to be perfect. Like even when I go on the ice, I like my shoes like that. Otherwise I can't skate. Like my brain goes different places. Like I gotta fix the shoes. So having him is very helpful for me, because I know figure skating is such a discipline and sport, ice dance especially, where it's never going to be perfect. Like the scores start at perfect and then the judges go down. Like the perfect score is not attainable. Yeah. So knowing that it's not going to be perfect, but you trying your best, I guess, is the way to go for me.
Mm-hmm. I also think we used to let mistakes in the program especially really hinder us. Like if we made a mistake in the first 5 seconds, it would be like game over, like it's done for, you know what I mean? Like
and
it's a wash. And it is like points-wise, especially in ice dance, when it's that close between teams, if you make one mistake, you might be falling from 2nd to 8th place. So it's like you have no way to recover from that. But I mean, I guess now if we do make a small mistake, we're able to recover much better from it and just, forget about it and move on, because really you can't go back. And living in the present moment of the performance, like every second, every step, just being where you are has been something that's like really changed the way we skate together, I think, and helped us to be more successful when we aren't feeling perfect, I guess I'd say.
Yeah, to feel like you're a perfectionist, and then in any sport, that's exhausting in and of itself, because there's so many things that you can't control on a day-to-day basis. So the fact that you guys are working together and doing that, and you've mentioned that Chris might not have ice dancing as a background or something, that's really helpful. Because I think that oftentimes coaches are charged with the, be the mentor, be the sports psychologist, be this, be that, and it's not really necessary. It's really hard, because if you're teaching that technical aspect of the sport, regardless of the sport, it's hard to also teach the mental, because it's just a lot. So good for you guys for seeking that out, being open-minded, and then also kind of staying together on it, because that's got to be it's got to be a team thing, you know, which is very well. You guys are a small team. It sounds like you're very much a team.
Yeah.
So
For sure.
then you're a world junior champion.
Yeah, a while back.
Yeah. So when what's that tournament like? Like what are that competition? Sorry, what's that competition like? And like what was that like? Milestone. Walk us through that. It must have been incredible.
Well, my dream was always to become an Olympic champion at some point, and winning Junior World was like a huge deal, but a big stepping stone towards that bigger goal. And I kind of already forget. It's been like so long. Maybe like first 2-3 years. I actually introduced myself.
Oh my
to
gosh.
Emilea.
The way he introduced himself to me, he's Vadym, Junior World Champion. And I was like, I said, like, what are you talking about?
I mean, I worked hard for that, so might as well just flex it at that point. Go on.
And I was looking around like, is this a joke? Is he serious? Like, I don't really know what to do. Yeah, but
yeah. But no, I mean, for me, I think it was, it had a bigger meaning than the title itself, because at that point, what it means to be a junior world champion, it means you're ahead of everyone in the same age category than you are. So you're one step closer towards that Olympic goal. But nowadays, I see a couple like, there used to be a team, Papadakis Cizeron, they never won anything at juniors, and then they just became one of the most decorated athletes of all time in seniors. So my mind had to change, because what you did in juniors doesn't matter right now when you step into the big leagues with big guys.
Yeah.
You know, you just can't stop. The way the sport is, if you stop, someone's going to pass you. So if you're going to think about your previous titles, you're not going to step forward.
That's such a great mind. Hey, it's a wonderful accomplishment, but it sounds like you have an incredible perspective on it, because your goal was to win the Olympics, which is great. Now, I'm glad that you were able to use it in at least one intro that you won the World Junior. So at least you didn't miss that opportunity.
Yeah.
But, that's something that for all young athletes, because the pressure's real on kids now. You know, they're coming out, and it was the same. You know, the pressure's always been real, because, you know, you could be a 12-year-old playing the district baseball game, and to that 12-year-old, that's the biggest game they've ever played in their life, and that's real. But I think that is important perspective for you as you chase the Olympic dreams, that you look back on that was just a milestone. And I think that's good for parents to hear. I've heard people talk about, well, it's great when you're in the best in your birth year, but at the highest level, there's 20 birth years. Yeah. So that's like, it puts it in perspective. So that's really interesting to hear you say that. And I like that story that you led with it. That's great. When you guys, so now you have the pressure, and I also love that, pressure is a privilege. You have that privilege to have the pressure going to, compete to earn a spot on the Olympic team.
Yeah.
I know you're talking with Chris Palmer. What else do you guys do to manage that pressure, and how do you handle that preparation, going into these next few months with hopefully the chance to make the team?
I think this season means a lot to us, not only because it's our chance to make our first Olympic team, but the Olympic season is in general really exciting, and everybody's at the top of their game. Everybody's been working the hardest they've ever worked. Everybody's in the best shape that they've ever been. It's like everybody is making that push, the same push that we're trying to make, and it's kind of a special energy, I guess I would say. It's very motivating, and I feel like every day is one step closer to making that dream a reality. And I feel, as you said, like it's a privilege that we even have this opportunity, and we're in contention for this spot. So why not do everything in my power? Why not do everything that we can to get us there? This is the time. That's what I feel like. Every day when we're on the ice, I feel, even if I feel sick, or even if I feel not my best, I have pain or whatever, he reminds me, this is the time, we need to do it. Or if it's the opposite, if he's not feeling well, I'll remind him, this is the time, we need to push. This is our moment to show everyone the work we've been doing, and we can represent the U.S. at the Olympics. So it kind of goes, it's a handoff. So if sometimes maybe I'm feeling unmotivated, Vadym's there for me. And if he's feeling down, which is rare, I will say, I'll be there for him to motivate him. He's the most self-motivated person I think I've ever met. So yeah. But yeah, I think it's a really exciting season, and I want to be on that team more than more than I can put into words, honestly.
I think this is my most loved season.
So far, even. We've only done one competition and you haven't done.
Yeah, but, you know, we were going through things since we met.
Yeah.
The war, the injuries, and I feel like finally we're there mentally and we're there physically, and I like found my new love for figure skating. So every day going in there is just a privilege. I love doing it and I want to continue doing it.
And with ice dance, it's really important that, with all skating in general, it's really important that you love the sport. Because as we talked about, it's a lot of hours, it's a lot of harsh opinions, it's like a lot of criticism, a lot.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's not the hugest reward as you would see in, you know, like Major League Baseball or, you know, the NFL. Because in world standing, I mean, we're ranked now 9th or 10th in the world. And in the U.S., we're ranked, I guess, number 1 for the season so far. But comparable to someone who's ranked, you know, 10th in the world in hockey, they're making millions of dollars and they're getting, you know, a lot of publicity, and it's just not the same. So the love for the sport and the want every day to do it is super important.
Yeah, and you touched on it a bit, the adversity, like when you get to this type of year, such an, you know, important and fun year, but you look back and you've seen adversity, obviously one injury that was like a setback, and then with where you're from originally, with the Ukraine and everything that's gone on there, like that type of adversity, is that serve as a motivator, or is it something that you try to put kind of in the back of your mind, or how do you handle that?
Well, at first I tried to put it in the back of my mind, but it always comes back. You can't not remember it. You can't not focus on it at some point. So what I learned is to just deal with it. You're going to have problems. There are going to be hardships, but you just need to accept and move on, you know? Yeah,
that's like almost all athletes who have found their way to make it to be top 10 of the world, which is absolutely incredible. The fact that you can say that sentence, I hope you guys don't take that for granted. You know, because there's very, very, very few people in the world that could ever say that about anything. So that's incredible in and of itself. But I think everyone who makes it to those type of levels, who say that something like that, is like they've gone through and they've battled through some types of it, you know, varying levels. But that's really, really cool. I can't tell you how many good things that come out of this. I think will be really useful for not only young athletes but for their families as well. So, when you guys, as these next competitions, like what's the schedule? How can we like follow along and make sure that we're cheering you guys on?
Well, we will compete in the Grand Prix season in the coming weeks. So in 3 weeks, we leave for China. We'll do Cup of China. It's in Chongqing, China. I think that's how you say it, but I'm not 100% sure. And it will be streamed on NBC and Peacock. So if you have Peacock, it will be on there. And then after Cup of China, we'll go to Finland for the Helsinki Grand Prix. And immediately following that, we'll compete in Tallinn, Estonia. Yeah.
It's not set for Estonia yet because it's a challenger, so we're not 100%
it's a different
sure.
circuit, I guess you'd say. There's like a Grand Prix circuit, it's like the top dog circuit, and then the challenger series is a little bit different, but it's still an ISU competition, so you're in world standing.
And then we're just getting ready for nationals,
Yeah.
and at nationals it's all going to be decided whether we're going to Olympics or not.
Yeah, so nationals is like January 5th through 7th or something around then, and the Olympic team will be selected by the latest of January 12th. So nationals is basically like our Olympic trials that they would have in other sports.
So after that tournament, or after that competition, you have the 5-6 days of sitting and talking to Chris Palmer a lot to wait for that race, right?
Yeah, I think the Olympic Committee, they review all the like hopefuls, I guess Olympic hopefuls, before even nationals happens.
Because it's very important how the season goes as well. You can't just do well at nationals and expect to go to Olympics.
It's based on the last 2 seasons, like your success in the last 2 seasons internationally, your world standing points, you know, any mistakes you've made or perfect competitions you've competed in. So it's based off the past 2 seasons, and nationals is the final decider. You have to perform well at nationals. You can't not perform well at nationals. But they'll take everything into consideration. So.
Well, I think you guys know this, but you have everybody at the Athlete Lab in Novi and in Michigan and the United States rooting for you. So we'll be following along and watching all the competitions and enjoy the travels. Thank you so much for taking time out here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Busy days
Thank
to
you.
share your story with us. Thank you.
No problem.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure.
Thanks.